All right. Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing great. My name is Tom Lydon. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah. Coach Madigan told me this is a very energetic group, so I wanted to get it going early. It is always an honor and a privilege for me to be here. Again, my name is Tom Lydon. I think I counted it up. This might be the 6th or 7th time that I've had the privilege of hosting the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It is absolutely one of my most favorite nights of the year. I love reunions, first of all, and that's really what tonight is. And we have such great diversity of sport and people today to celebrate. So I'm thrilled that you are back on campus. All of you who are here, who have not been here in such a long time, welcome home. It's great to have you here. So established in 1974, the Northeastern Athletics Hall of Fame recognizes Northeastern University's most impactful and outstanding student athletes, coaches, and benefactors. And at this time, and we like to do this every year as well, I would like to ask that if there are any members of the Hall of Fame from our previous induction classes, that you please stand up so we can give you a nice round of applause. This is the night when you can kind of shake the cobwebs off that red jacket and wear it proudly. It's great. We would also like to take this time to remember all of those who are not with us today, including alumni, staff, family members, and friends of the Northeastern Athletics community. So please join us in a moment of silence as we do remember all of those who cannot be here with us tonight but are with us in spirit. Thank you very much. Well, we've got a great night ahead, and it starts with the man in charge. It is my honor always to introduce the athletics director here at Northeastern. Please welcome me in joining Jim Madigan.
Thank you, Tom. And echoing Tom's thoughts, welcome to everyone here today, and welcome to our 6 inductees, our 2 team inductees, and celebrating your accomplishments during your tenure here at Northeastern. A lot of energy upstairs in the ballroom. I'm seeing it coming down here today, from the auditorium, from the ballroom to the auditorium, and excited to celebrate your successes here today and learn a little bit more about your story and your journey here at Northeastern University. There's a lot going on at the university, a lot to be excited about, but this gives us an opportunity to relish in your accomplishments and to celebrate your accomplishments here at the university. Tom talked about a diversity of sport and diversity of our inductees and spanning different countries. So fortunate to have our inductees come back from Sweden, the UK, and then different parts of the U.S. and appreciate all your efforts. And the families who have come here, family and friends who have come to help celebrate with our inductees. You make it special for them. So many thanks again for all that. I know that Tom had some of the Hall of Fame inductees stand up. There's one person that I always like to recognize in this event. It was my boss and a good mentor to me, Peter Roby. Thank you for always coming back here, you and your wife, Deb. So thank you, Peter. And at the end of the day, this isn't about me, this is about our inductees, so I'm going to keep this program moving. Now let's get started. First, please turn your attention to the screen behind me as we share a video celebrating the success of our first inductee, track and field star, Derek Anderson.
I remember him seeming like this imposing figure, just not only physically large, but like he had this booming voice and then just personality just as big as everyone else I had met.
I think what made Derek the ultimate competitor was the fact that he was so well-rounded, and I think like I mentioned before, he had the ability to compartmentalize the different aspects of being a good athlete. He was strong, he was fast, he was explosive.
Derek wasn't just an athlete, like he was my coach for many years. He took me under his wing. He He was annoying as hell. He was friendly. He was funny. That's the reason why I constantly use the term more so gentle giant, because at the end of the day, he had a conservative side and he was by the books, but he also had a very warm, welcoming, down to earth, super relatable, fun side.
For me, especially because I was a little younger, he was like a big brother.
More so than, when you step aside from the athletics, I think the respect he has for other people is really one of his biggest attributes. The way he treats his competitors, his teammates, his friends, his family. So just all around, really fun to hang out with, and a really good friend who I think I can rely on.
Hall of Fame just runs through his blood. I've never met somebody that truly is so integrous and competes to the highest of just excellence in everything. There was no shortcuts in practice. There was no, he would get upset if somebody else didn't do their best, and I think that shows how much integrity someone has when they're getting on you for you slacking.
He was All-American, all New England, all, IC placed it. I mean, he threw really far, and that's why he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
One, just off the sheer force of talent and what he accomplished as an individual athlete, he's absolutely deserving. And then the other piece is what he did for the team. I mean, one thing that drew me to Northeastern over other schools I went to was just that team aspect, that family aspect. And us rowers threw in multiple events, not because they were just that good, but because they wanted to score points for our team.
And I can't remember achieving any personal best without Derek being right at the side and I'm jumping into his arms, and he was my biggest cheerleader, but he was also my biggest critic. And I'm so grateful for that.
Let's welcome up Derek Anderson.
Test 1, 2, they're on.
Okay.
I've broken the ice, by the way. We're allowed to misspeak due to nerves. I think I said, please welcome me in joining Jim Madigan, by the way. I don't know if anyone caught that, but it happens sometimes. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was extremely flattering.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And by the way, I noticed the discus, shot put, hammer. Was there one that you enjoyed more than any other?
Man, I always loved the discus, but as I got older, somehow I fell in love with the shot put. And that probably had a lot to do with Zara. I know you're in the audience here somewhere. And there we go. Yeah, we really fed off each other. And I think just the energy, the excitement, so it became more of my love over time.
It's one thing to set a record or a number of records. It's a whole nother thing for those records to stand over the course of decades. You're pushing 2 decades now where your records still stand. I mean, it's crazy. What goes through your mind when you know you've left that kind of legacy?
A lot. First off, I would say I poured my heart and soul into it, but it wasn't just me. I mean, I got a great family who supported me the whole way through. I had great teammates. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but I had some great coaches. And I think that, ultimately records are meant to be broken, and I hope they get broken someday, but it is very flattering to know that I still own them.
kinda. You want them to be broken because that means that the program's evolving.
Exactly.
And you were a big part of that evolution because I'm looking at it here, 6 seasons of indoor and outdoor track and field. So naturally, because of your skill, because of your talent, because of your leadership ability, you became a leader on the team. How did you most effectively lead your teammates?
I think you heard it from Zara in the video. I think I led from the front. I pushed myself to the limits, and I really expected that of everybody else around me. And at the end of the day, we were all family. We spent a lot of time together. I'm sure all these athletes who are being inducted or have been inducted can recall all the hours you spend training, talking, just hanging out. And so there's that just eternal bond that you make, but you also have to separate that in the practice facility, at meet day, competition day, and you really have to just put it all on the line. And you just really hope that you can watch other people also realize their full potential.
Well, when you're in a university setting, a lot of what you do is based on learning. So what lessons did you learn here that you carry with you now?
Yeah, well, let me say this, if I can divert for just 1 second. First of all, we go back to the records. I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize Carl Wallen. He's somewhere here in the crowd. Carl had the shot put record before I broke it. He recruited me. He was a coach at Dartmouth. Sorry, Carl, I chose Northeastern. But I always had the utmost respect for him, and he was a big champion of mine, even through my college career as I was competing against his athletes. But when it comes to lessons learned, I had a really, really impactful coach here. Joe Donahue, there's a track meet named after him. His wife and daughter are here. I believe his grandson's here as well. And even to this day in my professional career, he said something to me that I carry forward with me every single day. And believe it or not, I know you can't tell by those photos, I was a bit of a hothead sometimes. And I had a meltdown one day in practice, right? And I just couldn't compose myself. And he looked at me and he said, "You know how bad you feel right now?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I was mad. So, gave him some attitude, and he goes, "Just remember that next year you're going to be performing at a higher level and you're going to feel just as bad as you do today." He goes, his message was always, if you are someone who overachieves but acts like an underachiever, you're always going to feel some gap, right? And I try to carry that forward today because I see people really pour their heart and soul into something and get disappointed about not performing or not getting that bonus or whatever it is that they're really shooting for. But the truth of the matter is, it's just the trend line over time. It's really a marathon, not a sprint.
So it kind of morphs into the next question of what sort of advice would you give the current student athlete?
Man, try to be undeniable. That's it. I mean, not everybody is Michael Jordan. Not everybody has that kind of talent, that kind of drive, but if you can try to put it together and just put your best foot forward every day and not BS yourself, really is what it comes down to, because it's easy to make excuses. But if you don't, and you really hold yourself accountable, you will find your potential, whether that's, the greatest ever or just the greatest you can be, but you can still make a mark that way.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Give it up for Derek. Let's turn our attention to the screen. Our next inductee.
Karina stood out to me initially just because we played on a competing rival teams. First impressions when I first met her was smart, very composed, witty, like a social leader. A lot of people really migrated towards her.
It wasn't really a question about whether or not she was gonna completely commit to being the best player and leader that she could be and win games. She wanted to win, and she did. Yeah, it was just kind of easy to follow Karina because she really set the tone.
They had the very social side of their class and the very academically driven side of their class, and I don't think there's ever been a gap bigger, and I think she was able to do both to the highest extent. Sometimes we didn't know how, but she did. And I think that's why so many people respected her, because whatever she was doing was her priority, and she knew how to separate those things, so she never let one give to try and enjoy some of the other stuff of being a college student.
Her position on the field, I think, worked really nicely with her leadership qualities as well, because she was a center defensive mid, and she really played that role of boss, quarterback, whatever you want to call it. She set the tone, she controlled the tempo, everything ran through her on and off the field, and just like really natural to follow Karina because she encompassed those leadership qualities all around.
She was always the first person speaking when the team would come together saying, listen, this is what I see happening and this is how I think we should deal with it. And then she was also good at calling out individual people and giving them the feedback that they needed in the moment. Like, hey, you're doing this really well. I think we could see improvement here, and that's going to help the greater team reach our goal and be successful together.
My freshman year, one of my first appearances, I basically assisted the other team to score on us. It was a really bad moment for me, and I was ready to freak out, and she just grabbed the whole team together right after the goal and just looked at me and was like, don't ever do that again, but it's over, move on, go do something and make a difference. And I did. I went and scored, and it was just the way that she didn't even let me go there. Like, she just grabbed me, pulled me right out of it, and focused me again, and that stuck with me.
The team doesn't tick the way it ticked without an engine like that centrally. She ran the show, but from a subtle position that never really gained any recognition for it. And I do think just her ability to lead and empower people to compete at the highest level is definitely not something many young student athletes are able to do.
If you look at the team over those 4 years, Karina was the captain. She was the lead of that success.
She was a captain for 3 years. She won 3 out of 4 conference championships. Her awareness and effectiveness as a leader and a player were 100% essential to the success of the team in those years. I wouldn't have become the player if it wasn't for Karina, and I think a lot of people would say the same.
You don't see many that can carry the weight of what we asked of her as a player and the weight of what we asked of her as a leader, and do it with people still respecting her, liking her, appreciating her, not getting too frustrated with feedback and things like that. So everything is why she should be inducted into this year's Hall of Fame class.
Karina DeAndres Arvidsson.
I think this is our youngest inductee of the year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Didn't take long. 9 years, and here you are in the Hall of Fame. Really remarkable. And I know that you came up from New York for this. So let's talk about championships first, because championships are team accomplishments, so you can kind of deflect some of the praise on your teammates. What was it about your teams that allowed you to succeed at the level that you did? 3 out of 4 years champion.
Yeah, I mean, the first year, I can't take too much credit for that. I was just a freshman, but we came in with a big class, and I think the thing that really was actually talking at the cocktail hour, it was a mix of people, really technical, some not so technical, some more just like athletes, really fast. And we had so much grit. We cobbled it together. It didn't always have to look like perfect or pretty, but we found ways to make it work, and we really cared deeply about getting that outcome. And we set the tone our freshman year, and that was that.
So 2014, get to the NCAA tournament, and everyone wants to win that game. And so you win that game, which is the first time ever in this school's history that an NCAA tournament game was won by the women's soccer program. Yeah. Can you walk me through kind of the build-up to that game, how intense it was to win that game, and how proud you were of that accomplishment as a team?
Yeah, I mean, that was such a fun year. We won the first round against BU, which is always nice and sweet. On their turf, we had a big rivalry with that team, and it meant so much to win that game and to be able to go on and play in the second round of the NCAA tournament. We played FSU. They went on to win the whole thing. I think those girls were towering over us, but you know what? We actually, we showed up and we we worked hard. I think we only lost like 2-1. You know, it was such a fun year. It was so cool to share that with everybody. You go to a school like FSU, it's like huge crowds, not something we're super used to. And like I said, it was just a year we were so dedicated to being better and better every year. And it really worked that year.
What stood out to me in the video was when Coach said she asked as much of you as a leader as she did as a player. So your leadership clearly stood out from a young age. Is it natural? Is it inherent? How did you become such a natural leader?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of my friends that started here lovingly call me a hardo, so it's in my blood, I think. I'm honestly, we had a big class freshman year. They all voted me in, so that's kind of where it started. But I took that role on with so much pride and really was so honored to be in that role at a young age on the team. I really, you know, my parents are here. They can't stop coming to Northeastern. They love coming up here for soccer-based stuff. And they, from such a young age, instilled in me, like, if you're gonna do something, do it right and do it well and work hard. Whether it was like cleaning the house and taking out the trash or playing a sport, it was always about giving your best effort. And that's really what I tried to take with me as a leader. And I think, like Valen was saying, I really worked hard to understand each player as an individual as well and recognize, okay, where can I push a little bit more with this person? Where might I need to approach this differently if this person's having a tough time? And I really tried to sort of understand each unique player.
Awesome. Your husband's here, right?
He is, yeah.
Okay, also an athlete here at Northeastern. Welcome home to you as well. What does it mean to you to share a moment like this with him when you were both in the athletic community?
Yeah, it means so much. I think not just my husband, but I mean, he is literally my family now. And I knew that would happen. There's, you know, the women in the video, friends that are not even in the video. I met family members here at Northeastern in the athletic department, and these are people that I'll have with me for the rest of my life, and it means so much to share this. You know, our friends are chirping him because he's lucky I just legally hyphenated my last name, so his last name gets to be in the Hall of Fame too, but but I am so happy to share it with him.
That's fantastic. You're just lucky it doesn't have to fit on a jersey. Can you imagine that name fitting on a jersey? Woo. Congratulations.
Thank you
the
so
newest
much.
inductee in the Northeastern Hall of Fame. Karina.
So first time I met Sarah, what I knew her as was Brody. She was not Sarah to me, she was always Brody. She was such a competitor on the field that I thought she was gonna be just competitive when you met her, just look you in the eye, this is what we're gonna do, this is how we're gonna play. So I think I was taken back by just how friendly and kind she was, because on the field you would look at her with her bandana on and you would be like, I am not gonna mess with her.
So I actually went down and saw Sarah play in person. She just stuck out to me right away. Someone who was fast, strong, goal scorer. She was, you know, diving for balls in front of the goal. I just knew that she's a great athlete. I'd love to have her be part of our team.
She started right away. She led the team as a freshman, which was great to see. The field hockey program had a little tradition, but wasn't to the level it kind of went with Sarah. See on the field, kind of directing traffic, making plays. And that translated to the work she put in the weight room. She kind of stuck out as one of the stronger voices in the room, kind of a lot of respect for her.
To me, what Northeastern was all about is building a program, bringing in someone who has natural talent, and then just trying to help them be better. And she made herself better. She's the player that you knew, would dive in front of the goal, would run into a goal post, and get up and still be fighting.
Field hockey team was successful when I was here, and she was kind of the leader of that team. She brought the championships to Northeastern.
The first game I came to with my parents, we sat down in the stands. And I was so excited to be there, and I sit down, and I'll just never forget seeing Brody get the ball. She just dribbled around all these players, and I was just watching in awe, just watching this girl go with the bandana on, just dribbling around these players. But right at the end, instead of taking the ball and shooting and scoring, she passed it off to another player who put the ball in, and then she ran right over to her, celebrated her, they ran back. But it was just, I remember seeing her on the field that day, and it was inspiring to me to want to play in college. I only got the chance to play with her in a small portion post-collegiately, but it's the person she is and how she makes you want to be around her. She makes you want to be better, but she was inspiring in the way she would communicate, and that's something that I think is just everlasting in my memory of her.
One of her classmates just said, I remember her love for the game, her pride in Northeastern, and her leadership on the field and her grit. She also has the stats to back it up.
She encompasses everything that it means to be a Hall of Famer. And that's not just on the field. She's touched a lot of lives, and now her name's going to be known in the Athletic Hall of Fame forever, and that's very inspiring.
Welcome back, Sarah Broderick. Pretty cool, right?
Oh yeah, this is amazing. And I have to say I'm a little nervous being
No,
up here.
don't be nervous. It's a very warm and receptive crowd.
I can tell.
This is our first of the international guests tonight. We have two from the UK, one from Sweden, one from Canada, one from Texas. We love you, Dee. Take me through what the journey was to get here. That's the cool thing.
Come here today.
Yes.
Well, I started at the Colonnade. I took the T, and I got here. No, it's actually a really good question. I was thinking about this. My fiance's actually here today, and he met me at a running club in Cambridge, England, which we live in today. And he met me well after hockey. So I had to think a lot about that before I got here, which is interesting. I played here in Northeastern 1999 to 2002. Wasn't the end of my hockey years, though. I actually was able to carry on playing U.S. hockey for a bit of time. Played a lot of club throughout the U.S. And I actually competed in Cambridge as well, at the University of Cambridge. So I actually was a blue there as well. So I carried on the Northeastern tradition into the UK. I actually brought a bit of an American style to it, too, which they all really enjoyed. I wasn't the only international there, though. We did have Kiwi as well.
Well, you did point out when we were talking earlier that there's a difference in style. Can you sort of give us a little hint of what the difference in style is?
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually. We were talking about this, actually, at cocktails earlier, too. The difference in style is a lot of people start playing at a young age, just like a lot of us do in different sports. But you end up playing with people of all sorts of ages. So you end up watching people who've been playing for decades, and you might play with them actually on a Saturday match. And because of that, you learn awareness on the pitch really easily at a young age, and then you actually start working on not just your endurance to be able to play throughout the entire length of the game, but you also start picking up little things that people do slightly differently, and it's a really interesting way. And they also don't just play hockey. So in England, actually, in particular, most people will have played hockey at some point in time in their life. So yeah, it's just a bit more of a familial kind of thing. But yeah, it's a bit different.
So how do you stack up the accomplishments or separate them? What are you most proud of after a very distinguished career playing field hockey?
I'd say the team. Yeah, everybody I played with, actually, there's a lot of you in the field, or in the audience today, who we didn't play on the same team together, but we were all part of Northeastern. And so in that side, we showed up at each other's matches, we cheered each other on. Today, I've got Kirsten in the front row here, nodding away, who I loved watching her spike the ball in volleyball. It was incredible. But I would say, for hockey in particular, I was always just really so enthralled by watching the team move the ball up the pitch. I was a forward, so sometimes I got to put the ball in the net, or I'd pass it to a team member who would put it in the net, but it was never because I touched the ball. It was, that's the end. That was my job. My job was to put the ball in the net. Cheryl is my coach. She's in the audience here today. She knows we never just put the ball in the net. We start at the back of the pitch. So the keeper is the one who passes the ball up. We have defense who's protecting the space there, moving the ball throughout. So it was always about the team at the end of the day. I think that's what I was most proud of.
How about the university in general? How did the university prepare you for life after college?
Well, like you said, I actually don't live in the UK anymore, and that was one of the things about Northeastern. Northeastern always made you think outside of just the small place that you're in. and mind you, Northeastern isn't small. We're here at a wonderful university, wonderful city. It just made you more aware of what was around you and how you individually could actually contribute into the society that you either were locally to or involved with on an international or national level. So I think Northeastern really prepared me academically to be able to step into the senior leadership roles that I'm in today. It prepared me socially to be able to get to know not just the people who I shared the pitch with, but my colleagues who are also in the athletic facility or at the business school and getting to know people in the classroom. It also then prepared you just to be able to be just, I think, conscious of how you show up. Show up, do the work, and at the end of the day, just be kind as well.
Yeah, and you wanted to make sure that you had a moment to say thank you and relay a message to your family and friends that are here today.
Yeah, I have some family who aren't here, actually, who I'm a bit sad they're not. My mom and dad actually were supposed to be here today. Dad wasn't doing too well this summer, so he decided to stay home. So my love to mom and dad. Also love to my fiance who's here, who came with me today, and also to Greg Lutz, actually, who I think is the person who nominated me for this, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame at some point in time. Fantastic relay, short distance, 100, 200, 400. I'm just going to give you some stats here. But honestly, there's so many of you who I saw today who I just have to say you've shown up as my family when my family couldn't be here today. So I have other friends who are here as well, so thank you for being those people who showed up for me today.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thanks very much, Sarah.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
The first time I met Larissa, she was in Texas. So we were in the NCAAs. I just remember her being this tall, skinny blonde with really long arms, and she looked super athletic. And when she got to Northeastern, she changed the stats. Like, she was freshman of the year. Like, she blew everybody out of the water.
I was beginning my sophomore year as she started her freshman year. And I realized at practice right away, I was like, she's gonna give me a run for my money. If I want playing time, she's who I have to be.
Middle blocking is an art form, and she took that to a different level. The way she would move from one pin to the other, the way she would move her feet, it was really like poetic to watch. And I haven't seen a lot of girls that play like that. And so obviously the numbers reflect that, but for me, it was more that her leadership skills, the way that she sort of orchestrated the offense, and just her presence.
When you first go to college as a freshman, you're always kind of scared of the older classmen, and she was one of those players that really welcomed me at Northeastern, and that type of person that you wanted to be around as much as possible.
Whatever it was between Larissa and I, we kind of locked eyes, and that was it. Like, she was my favorite person to play with. You know, we had different groups of friends and we were in different age groups, but it didn't matter because when we were there together, like, she and I, it was like we could read each other's minds. My fondest memories of playing at Northeastern include her. She was one of the hardest working athletes I've ever played with and was fortunate enough to be around. And I think it's contagious.
You could talk to her about anything, really. If you're having problems in classes or your own personal life, she was always there. Her leadership would show through in that sense as well. Our coach really relied on her to kind of bring us together, and that was always such a thing that I really admired about her.
I would call her my best friend. To this day, one of the kindest people I know. I spent a lot of Thanksgivings with her family. You know, that kindness and generosity clearly came from her parents and her sister as well. It kind of became a given that I'd be going home with Larissa.
Her last match as a player, somebody took a picture of us crying together. The fact that she was moving on was a bit scary and sad for me, but she had taught me and prepared me for moments like that, so I felt in a way safe that she was leaving.
She would stick around and help out with practices in her 5th year, even after graduating, someone who has a presence still in the Northeastern community.
You know, as we grew older and we had kids and all those things, like, I take a lot of pride in the fact that I got to watch her kind of grow up at Northeastern.
She's deserving for so many reasons. She never stopped being motivated or determined to be her best. She never stopped being a friend and a family member to all of us. I mean, she's one of the reasons why I kept playing and had the career that I had abroad. She enjoyed her time at Northeastern and enjoyed the program and was grateful for everything that she experienced and she got from Northeastern. Even on the bad days, she was grateful for it. And I think that that really set a high level, high standard for people coming in to like look back and see, well, you know, if Larissa Adamek can do it, so can I. Just knowing her as a person and a player and a friend, it's just, she's deserving on all levels, really.
Larissa Adamek Coonley, welcome.
Well, I have extra appreciation for you because my daughter plays volleyball and she is a middle blocker. So I love middle blockers. This is great. Congratulations. Can you share the story with everybody here that what you experienced today, being back on campus?
So I'm on London time. So I woke up really early and I walked around the Prudential, but then I was like, I'm going to go hit up the Northeastern campus. And naturally just immediately went to Cabot and broke in, basically. I waited in the hallway until somebody came in and then I slid in behind them, walked the hallways, went up into the coaches area. I was just seeing if somebody was there. They're traveling. And then I went into the gym. I knew this was happening tonight. And that was home for 5 years, basically. So it was just I wanted to go back home before this. And so I walked into the gym and one of the basketball coaches was in there. He came over, he recognized me, which I'm famous. That never happened, yeah. And then I talked to him for a while. That was great, catching up. And then there was a freshman redshirt volleyball player who isn't traveling with the team, but she was just in there doing reps by herself, which is amazing, right? She's not but she's just in there setting and doing drills by herself. And so I went over, introduced myself, and we ended up talking for almost an hour. Wow. She took me into the locker room. I told her stories. Not okay for this venue. It was great, yeah.
Well, take me back to the moment that you found out that you were going to be a Northeastern Hall of Famer. How did you find out and what went through your mind?
Oh, God. So I live in London. I have 3 children. I was actually at Lilo and Stitch in a movie theater, and my phone rang, and I looked down, and it said Kristen Ursulo, who is front row with me right there. I'm gonna cry here because Kristen is my person. So I saw her name pop up, and I was either gonna be good news or bad news, but I was I've got to take this phone call. So I left my 3 children in the movie theater by themselves. And I'm out in the hallway. It's pitch black. I haven't showered in, I don't know, we don't know how many days, but Kristen is perfect. She's hey, Larissa. And you got it. You got it. And that was all you said. And then I just start to cry. And that's when Kristen takes a screenshot. She's has her perfect, it's a great shot. And I'm just in a movie theater, and I go back in and I have to finish watching Lilo and Stitch, but I just want to tell everybody. It was one of those magical moments, meant everything to me. Yeah.
It's very, very cool. I'm glad you shared that. Do you have a favorite experience of when you were here on campus as a student competing?
Oh, God. I have one of like clearest memories that I have. So you come in as a freshman, and the first week and a half, we called it Hell Week. You don't get to touch a volleyball. Like, they're just like, run. Like, get on the line, horses, like, nonstop. And it's hot, it's September, we're like, it's miserable, but it's called Hell Week for a reason. But I remember the very first time Coach brought out volleyballs. And he was like, go 75%, or whatever he said to us, I don't remember, but I was so amped up, like I was just like, I want to hit a volleyball. And Kristen was there at the net. He tossed a ball. It hit like, I don't know, the 5-foot line or something stupid. I was so just like, so much energy after a week and a half of not getting to actually play. And I'll always remember the look on her face. She like looks at me like she was just like, yes, like, I'm so excited. This is gonna be fun. That was just one of those moments that I'll never forget.
All right, I'll leave you with this question because we talked also about the unbelievable growth of the sport of volleyball that we're all aware of. We see it. How does that make you feel to see how popular this sport is becoming?
It's amazing. So I'm in London, and soccer is like typically the big sport over there. And I was talking to some of the coaches at our school. I was told this week actually that they're having a hard time filling like the soccer program because so many of the female athletes want to play volleyball, which is like the sports. It means I'm one of the people that like loved the sport, loved it. Like, yes, like, you know, you get to go to an amazing school with a scholarship and all of that, but I would have played no matter what. It's just something that I loved. And so to see that more, you know, like more people are into it, and it's expanding, and the talent's getting better and better every year. It's really great to see.
Well, you're a Hall of Famer now. Yeah. Congratulations. Well deserved. Give it up one more time for Larissa. Congrats. Great job.
When I first met Davey in the fall of 1972, he came in and we were at training camp, and he happened to sit next to each other in the locker room, and we bonded right away. I was lucky to play with him as long as I did, I know that. He was a cheerful, optimistic guy, and we just liked each other off the bat.
As far as I know, neither David or I had ever been in New England, let alone Boston. And we were roommates freshman year. You probably heard a lot of horror stories about freshman year roommates. This was the most imaginably good roommate I could have ever possibly had.
We grew up in a very athletic family. Every year my dad would go out and make an ice skating rink for us that we learned how to play hockey since we were young. We were very competitive. So it was mainly that drive and push from our parents to guide us and make us disciplined when we were growing up, and that paid off.
Dave was a quiet guy, didn't need the limelight, and he led by example in the way that he played. He was a man of few words.
He was very, very focused and disciplined, and he was always locked in. No nonsense, but still a great sense of humor. And the other thing I'd say about him for sure was he seemed to be really good at whatever sport he tried to do. It's just unnatural at everything.
His hockey sense, we call it hockey IQ today, was off the chart. His love to compete and to win. He always worked his hardest. He was easy to follow because he wanted to be like that.
He was a quiet, lead by example kind of guy. Rarely raised his voice, and yet when he spoke, people listened.
Northeastern was a great fit for my brother. His first year there, he had a little difficulty. He was playing junior varsity his first few months.
And it was a big disappointment for Dave, but he finally got the call, and the first game that he played, he scored 3 goals. I was so proud of him, so proud to have him as a good friend.
I'd never seen a hockey game before, but the thing I noticed right away, even knowing nothing, was he was the guy skating with his head up. And he was skating to where the puck was going, not where it was. You didn't have to be a hockey genius to see that.
I ended up going to RPI on a hockey scholarship. He went to Northeastern on a hockey scholarship. And first time we played together was against each other, RPI against Northeastern. My parents came down to watch us play. And first shift we got on the ice together. The puck went in the corner and we both went in after the puck in the corner. Things got a little physical and we started pushing each other around and we both ended up in the penalty box. My parents weren't too keen on that happening.
It was always just a pleasure to live with, to be around, to go out and throw a baseball with, attend a hockey game.
Just because of his work ethic and the way he was dedicated to Northeastern playing hockey there, the amount of goals and assists that he scored there was incredible. And all our family is proud of him for being inducted into the Northeastern Athletics Hall of Fame.
In my humble opinion, and I've worked in the game for 45 years, David was the best all-around hockey player to ever play at Northeastern. I want to say congratulations, Dave. You finally got to where you should be, where you worked so hard to be. Northeastern Hall of Fame is lucky to have you.
Welcome back to Dave Sherlock.
Well, Dave was the first of the inductees to arrive today, and it had been a long time since you've been back on campus. How long has it been since you've been back here?
Well, really back on campus here, it's been almost 50 years.
Unbelievable, right? Think about it. Think about everything that's happened on campus in the city. What's your reaction of what you see?
Unbelievable. The changes here are just unbelievable. It's just so beautiful. I mean, just loved being here when I was here, and to see the growth and how perfect everything looks now. It's just awesome.
You look at it from a different perspective 50 years later. Does anything stand out to you as an individual moment, whether it be a goal or a win or an achievement of your team? What do you remember most during your time here?
Well, there is one goal I do remember, and that was it was about my third game playing in February, my freshman year. And we were playing in the Beanpot tournament, which is a pretty big thing. And for a freshman, Boston Garden was sold out. And I was a little nervous. And early on the first period, just so happens I get a breakaway, and I'm thinking, oh, I better score. But I went down and scored, and that's probably one of my best goals I remember.
That's cool. What a thrill. Well, the gap line, what a great nickname, too. Goal a period, the gap line. One of the legendary lines in college hockey. I know we're going back 50 years here to the 74-75 season, but what was it about the chemistry between the three of you that made you so incredibly effective as a unit?
I think it was just that we all had started playing hockey so early, and we all had, as they say nowadays, a high hockey IQ. Now, sometimes that IQ didn't go into the classroom too far, but it worked well together on the ice and made us gel, and we certainly enjoyed playing with each other.
Well, you had a very long career in Germany, not only as a player, but as a coach. So walk me through your experience of going overseas and having that be your next step.
Well, it was fun. It was fun from day one. I've been very fortunate to come to Northeastern and play for the 4 years, and then have an opportunity to have a tryout with an NHL team, and that didn't go too well, and ended up going to Germany, and just really enjoyed it. Learned a lot there, learned a lot about the game there. Didn't think that the Europeans would have that much knowledge, and really surprised me. Really enjoyed it. Of course, met my wife there and had 2 kids that were born there, and it was just awesome.
Is it even more special when you consider all the time that's passed that you do have your wife here with you today? And I'm sure you're seeing a lot of friends you haven't seen in a long time, too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this has just been fabulous. To see some of these guys, I haven't seen them in 50 years. It's just unbelievable. And I want to thank them all for coming and to celebrate this with me. It's awesome.
Awesome. Congratulations. Dave Sherlock, a Hall of Famer here at Northeastern. Good work.
Well, back then, many of the recruiting videos were sent on DVDs. I was able to recruit Peter through a very good friend of mine that does some international recruiting and watches videos. We needed a scoring forward badly. I remember I was walking around the National Coaches Convention when I got the phone call in January that he was going to come.
August 8th, 1998. First day I stayed over at Coach Matt's house, and he had basically just decided that I was going to live with Peter. He just decided he's Swedish, you're Norwegian. You should just, you should live together. Then we met Peter, and then we sort of just sat down and talked for like hours and became roommates, friends, and teammates ever since. Yeah.
I felt like Petter just was really wanted to try to understand American culture, understand what it meant to be, a college student. The international players that had success at Northeastern were kids that really kind of bought into, understanding the American culture, whether it was just on the field, off the field, and Petter was really, bought into all of that. Going into a game, you had a chance to win because you had someone who could score goals. And I think that's the hardest thing in soccer. And so to have that on our side was pretty cool. No matter who we played, we're like, hey, we have a chance to win because we just got to get him the ball and there's a good chance he's going to score.
I think he was really good at demonstrating to others what the standard was without necessarily expecting it of other people, if that makes sense. He was just like, I'm here, I'm doing my business, and you can follow along or not.
What I saw early on in practices was, he loved playing soccer. He loved practicing.
I remember being at Parsons one day, and we were kind of the tail end of the practice, and we were doing a little shooting drill, and we had the goals maybe at half field, so that the space was pretty tight, and I'm a goalie. And we were sitting there, and it's garbage time in practice, and guys are kind of packing up. And I remember one ball comes into his feet. He's maybe 3 feet away from me and just drills it as hard as he could, and it just goes whizzing right by my face. I was like, holy crap, he was just trying to get the most out of it.
One of Peter's years, we went down and played NC State and Duke. We'd only read about these schools. We'd only heard about their soccer programs. And we beat NC State on the first day. The Sunday, we had to play Duke, who I believe was number 13 in the country at the time. We ended up beating Duke 1-0, and Peter was the one that scored the lone goal. I think when you can leave Northeastern, or you can leave your soccer career and tell his kids back home that, hey, I scored against Duke and I scored against University of Virginia. His Swedish kids may not know who those schools are, but we certainly do.
I remember so many little things, right? I would always rollerblade back and forth to practices, and we'd rollerblade everywhere we went. So, every day we'd probably be doing 10, 15K rollerblading. In addition to sort of everything, but we didn't think of it as practice.
I think Petter was one of the players in our program who set the standard for what a Northeastern soccer player was.
Fortunately, I've played with the other 2 people that are in the Hall of Fame, Anders and Bjorn. The standard of excellence, of wanting to be the best, probably the thing for all 3 of them. Their personalities are all very different, to be fair. And I think for Petter, really did care about Northeastern, cared about the soccer program, cared about what was going on at the school. And I always felt like he was someone that just really loved being a Northeastern student athlete.
He's the greatest guy. He was my best man at my wedding. You know, he's been my great friend ever since. Everybody loves him. Everybody loved him, and everybody still loves him. Everything that he has achieved, it's all well deserved.
Feels good, right? Looks good. Give me your thoughts on just being back, because you made this journey yourself, all the way from Sweden to be here for this night.
Yeah, it's great to be back. It's great to see all old friends, old players, old buddies, and just to be back here. It's 22 years ago, I think, that we graduated. A lot's happened. It's just like coming home, I think.
Take me back to the initial decision to pick Northeastern, because you were telling me earlier that it's very similar, Boston, to where you grew up.
In Gothenburg, Sweden, yeah, it's similar size. It's on the water. It's just pretty much the same, I'd say. And in the end, like Coach said in the video, I had 2 schools to choose from in the end, and Boston, being in the city, the co-op, and that made it. It was an easy decision, yeah, because the other school was right in the middle of nowhere. And I wanted to experience the whole thing, and Boston was a good choice.
So you arrived here, and the soccer team, probably more so than any other team, was very international. There were a lot of different countries represented. Take us back to that first season where there were people from all over the world. It was like the United Nations.
It was a lot of international players. I think we had England, Ireland, Italy, Germany, Norway, the US, of course, and it was hard to adjust to the American way of playing, training, coaching, all of it. So my first season here was a year of adjustment. Really, it wasn't great scoring wise. It wasn't great like points wise, but it took a year to adjust. Coming into the second year, I knew what to expect and just came more prepared, and that's what it's about, I guess.
All right, well, Dave had one. He remembered a goal, one at Boston Garden. Is there a moment that stands out to you, a goal that you scored that stands out more than any other?
I don't really remember any goals or like that, but I just remember all games, pretty much like away games where we traveled together. The team did a lot of fun stuff together, and that's what we trained real hard. And the thing that I appreciated was that. Once we trained, and we were very serious about that. And then we had a lot of fun too, but at the right time. And I think that was the thing for me. I wanted to enjoy the whole experience, but once we practiced and once we were in season, that was the focus. And I think that was the good thing for me, I think.
I've got 2 more. One is about this group of guys and your thought about, you played with many of them.
Did, yeah.
Not most of them or all of them. So what's your take on that team?
Well, congratulations. It's fantastic. And I'm so happy to be here on this night to be able to celebrate with these guys. And it's just perfect. It's perfect to come over here and have all these people here as well and be able to celebrate with them. I think that's team sports. That's what I love.
And then the last question is just what are you doing? You're back over in Sweden, and what's keeping you busy these days?
Well, I got like most of the other guys here. I got a couple of kids, and they're all very active, so I pretty much drive back and forth to practice. Me and my wife, we're both coaches, so we kind of say hi to each other, meet each other in the door. It's just life, But we're a very active family, and we love sports, so we love to put in time with the kids.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Well, that was my freshman year. So I was new to the scene. So I came in, I had a senior actually run down the stairs. His name was Nate Houghton, and he was the man. He had a bald head, He had a tooth missing. He was rock solid. So I'll never forget that. My move-in day was a pretty good start to things. And so I kind of moved in and felt like I had kind of an instant family, which was cool.
Coming off the 2001 season, there was probably about 16 seniors. So we were only returning 3 starters. It was Nate, Arthur, and Omar. So there was a lot of spots up to grab. There was a lot of new guys.
We just caught fire towards the end of the season. We caught fire in the playoffs, and once we got to the playoffs and we were hosting on Parsons Field, I mean, at that point I'm like, oh, we're going to win this. The odds weren't with us. I mean, we had 3 scholarships. We were competing against schools with 9.9 day in and day out.
We were still trying to figure out the identity early on in the season, so we ran into a couple tough patches, but from having a good core group of guys, senior leadership, good culture, that's how we got through the adversity.
Ed set a tone in practice. He demanded a high work rate. That was, I think, the biggest thing I got out of Ed is you have to be working hard. And Brendan Donahue came in that year. He was the first year with the program, and he fit in seamlessly, ran a great session. So I think the two of them together really helped mold the team. And I think combined with all the new players and the new assistant coach, like you mentioned, we didn't start off great, but ended great. And I think once we all gelled together, it really made a difference.
I mean, I think Ed and the rest of the coaching staff did a really good job putting together a group of guys, local talent, as well as regional talent and then international. So we had a good core group of guys that stepped out on the field from a starting perspective, but then we did have, a few guys come off the bench that contributed right away.
We went on like a 6-game winning streak that really took it off, and before that there was a practice, I think it was before the Harvard game, where our practice, it was one night, and it was the best practice we've ever had. And it was funny, we talked about that after we started winning some games. We like that magical practice where everybody's work rate was really high, everybody was hitting on every drill, and it was just, I don't know if that was the turning point, but it was really something that we all looked back at and said, wow, that's the standard there.
I would say this is the most cohesive group of guys I've ever played with. Like, everyone hung out together, everyone did stuff together. We went to the dining hall, we practiced late. I think our practices were like 7 to 9 at night that year, which was like a lot of fun. We were under the lights at Parsons, and I think it was a really good group of guys just coming together, and I don't think it's ever been done like that at Northeastern before, and that's really hard. I think that's just a lot of great guys coming from different places just coming together.
When we did something, everybody did it, from the redshirt freshmen to all the seniors and everybody on the team. We were a really close-knit group, which even today we have so many. We're still very close. So many of us stay together, stay in touch.
I'm so happy for these guys. They're and the coaching staff and my sports medicine staff. Incredibly well-deserved honor for these guys, and I'm glad to be there and being able to enjoy it with them.
who are going to represent the crew. Congratulations. So great for you. When's the last time you all saw each other? Have you been together at all ever as a group back in the last 23 years? We're a close group, so we see each other often. We all have kids, we see each other in the soccer field, some of these international guys are coming back, so we see each other more often than we get to the other people are. We're very lucky. Do you have a text string? Like, is there? You should have one, right? The younger guys do. All right, but you know what's funny? Nate, earlier we talked about, well, maybe we'll ask you about a goal or a moment or a game, and your reaction was so organic. You're like, yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember any of it.
What do you remember?
Too many knocks to the head or not enough oxygen. You gotta ask Joe about all that stuff. He knows every moment of every game. I remember the family. I remember the team. I remember the training room. I remember Tom going 6 feet off the ground and 2-footing somebody like that and then standing up. I remember Joe having the fastest feet on the field and the slowest legs. I don't remember the actual game moments, but I remember all the fun we had. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Roy, tell me about the accomplishment of winning not only the first America East title, but getting that NCAA tournament berth, something that hadn't been done before. Yeah, what's crazy is we go to college, we all get to play soccer, we all love it, we're all good at it, and we're playing, we're in practice, and with the nature of this team, like you said in the video, there were 16 seniors the year before, really close to getting a bite of the apple, lost in the finals of 1,000. And then the next group of guys, we all train together all the time, really close brotherhood. And we're going through the season, we're getting these wins, we get to the conference final, and it's there for us. We're down during that game, and we make an incredible comeback. Like, I played the game, and I got goosebumps during the game. It was one of those kinds of games, and the celebration was great. Going to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, sitting in Matthews Arena. Was it Matthews? We were sitting in Matthews, and we get the placement. We're playing Lehigh down in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Muddy field, super cold. My dad bought Under Armour for me, and we won the game. These guys played great, and it was just such a great thing. In the moment, it's a game that we won. We got really far. Our season, unfortunately, is over. But now, 20 years later, that team, it's historic. And historic to the point where we're all up here on stage, so we get to enjoy this moment together. All right, Nate, no offense, but I gotta ask him because you told me you don't remember the details. But, Vermont, how about that one? The Vermont match that you guys were able to win. Tell me about that one, though. Oh, that was crazy. That was at Parsons. I think with that game, we were down the first half. I think I might have scored a goal during that game. No? We went up, but we were down. It was 2-1 at one point, right?
We won 2-1.
I thought we won 3-2. Yeah, it was at the game. I swear that was a question shot. Anyway, what happened? We were playing this game, and it's nerve-wracking because we're so close to the NCAA finals. The NCAA tournament. And we were up, we were down. I believe we went to overtime. Is this correct? All right, yeah. All right, we went to overtime. I think it's 7 down, but we scored and win. And did Mike have to win a goal? I should have asked Nate. He had to win a goal, and it was an amazing, exhilarating experience. Okay, fine. It was a great experience. All right, we'll let you off the hook. Nate, here's where you can chime in. You referenced some of the fun, but what do you think sets this team apart from any other team that's come through?
I think it was kind of mentioned on our video that we kind of were a bunch of misfits. We had 3 scholarships, and we were kind of a ragtag team, and we put it together, especially towards the end of the season, and we just beat up on people. We went out there and we gave 100%, and I know it's a little cliche, but yeah, we were a team. We were a real team, and we won together. Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. Congratulations to all of you. Enjoy that.
Every player goes into a season thinking, we're going to win it all. So we were all hopeful, right?
Coming in as a freshman anyway is completely overwhelming, but they made you feel like family right off the bat.
I thought one of our big strengths was our team cohesiveness. And that is brought about by your players that you don't necessarily see on the floor.
We were all matched up with certain seniors who looked out for us, not just on the court, but also academically. The seniors on the team laid it out for us right away. We were setting goals right from the get-go.
A team is like an iceberg. And the top, everyone sees the top, the little tiny top, but nobody sees the immense bottom that supports that entire iceberg. And those players would come in at every practice and try to play hard and make themselves better, but also make their teammates better.
You just knew your role on the team and what was expected of you. And having that leadership was huge, and it just made you feel so welcome and such a big part of the team.
I thought that was a big strength, and especially the games. If people weren't in the games physically, mentally, and emotionally, they were there and they were supporting the players that were out on the floor.
I've never gotten emotional at halftime, but we were losing so bad against Arizona when we went to play them that it was a point in your career where you're like, this is incredibly hard. And I think back on that a lot because throughout life, you lose a lot more than you win, but it's how do you take those losses and learn from them? And that's one thing that I took from that really bad loss was work through that and still find success.
We were against Maine, which was a defensive club, and we were a defensive club. We started out, we went down 4-0, 6-0, 8-0, 10-0. We were down 10 till 10 minutes to go in the first half. And we just kept playing and plugging, and we just hung in there, and it didn't look good for us. And then we gradually caught up, and it was a tight game from then on in.
How do you work together to fight through that adversity? And it's a lot of lessons that you learn in basketball, being on a team like that takes you through life and helps you be more successful.
We took the trip to the NCAA tournament, and we went and we played in the same gymnasium where Michael Jordan played down in UNC Chapel Hill.
The moments that we had going to that NCAA tournament, I will never forget.
We literally were exiting the plane, and we had people greeting us from the NCAA tournament and people cheering for us as we were exiting the plane. And just the whole time you felt like you were royalty.
There was so many athletes there and students and faculty just wishing us success, and the band and cheerleaders. It was really, really neat.
In that first game, we were the 13th seed and they were the 4th seed, and we were winning at halftime. We had the momentum, and it was a surreal experience.
I will never forget halftime, and our coach Joy, who we all just love to play for, was almost speechless. She didn't know what to say because I think we all thought we were going to go into that game and experience what we experienced against Arizona. And we were competing, and we were right there, and we had an opportunity to win. And I'll never forget that moment and that look on her face because she was so proud of us.
Our coach had us setting goals and everything, and we were aiming high, but I never actually thought it was going to happen.
This team was smart. This team played defense, as all my teams usually did, but they were cohesive. So that's 3 things that I think was outstanding about this 99 team.
We were really excited to get there, and it was like a dream come true.
Come on up, the 1999 women's basketball team.
There you go. One for you. Thanks, Bets. Lonnie, there you go.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations. Welcome back to all of you. What a great thrill. We're going to talk to Lonnie and Betsy here. So much of the emotion was captured in that video, but I want to get right to what that thrill was like. I've been to NCAA tournament opening weekends, and I've always thought that it's so unique because you have the teams that go every single year, and they have a very business-like approach, and then you have the teams that don't go every year that are crazy filled with excitement. All the cheerleaders are there, the band's there, the whole thing. What was that experience like for you to be part of the NCAA tournament, and talk a little bit more about that setting?
I think it was very surreal. I mean, like Jess said, you get off and you're like, they have a water bottle with your name on it, and I don't think we ever kind of expected that to happen for us. So like our goal was to win a championship, but we accomplished that, and then we were so happy because we got more time together. And so you just want a little more, and to have that and be able to accomplish that as a team felt really like we were on cloud nine the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know how much I would add, but as a sophomore, it was an unbelievable experience in terms of seeing the work that we all put together to be rewarded, and recognizing now, like 20 years plus, how hard it is to gain that experience. It just makes you appreciate being able to share those moments with the people that influenced you so much at a critical time.
Was there a moment, or did you just know? We've all been on teams, and sometimes. You just look around the room, you look at the eyes of your teammates, and you're like, this group can do something. Did you get the sense that you had a special group that could win a championship that year?
I think so. I mean, it was a culmination of not like a year of hard work, but years of hard work, and some really tough years where we didn't win that many games. And I think you start to believe, you have to believe in the process. And you just hope that when the opportunity presents itself, that you are prepared to take advantage of it. And we were extremely well coached. I think we felt like we were ready in that moment to take advantage. And that's what you hope as an athlete that you're going to be able to do.
There's so much trust that I felt like I experienced. I knew I could trust T. I knew I could trust Betsy. I knew that Beth, Tiana, Wanda could hit the three. I know that I was going to get pushed at practice against like Chung Clap. Heather, when Jess went down with a ACL tear, I still trusted her leadership. Like there was just an unbelievable level of trust. And I came in freshman year, and it was a rough experience, the Arizona stuff. But there was this attitude of like, not again. And it leaked into the second year where I think we knew how good we were and the depth that we had, but the conference didn't. And we were underdogs, and especially within the tournament, we were able to surprise a lot of people who weren't expecting us to win. But that level of trust was huge.
So it's 26 years ago, and a lot has happened, and many of you are mothers, and I just want to hear about the evolution of the relationship of this team. How has it evolved over the quarter century?
I mean, we got up to a lot of shenanigans. And so I think that it's so, I feel that we bonded so well, and it was the in-between times. And so to see each other again and to be at Northeastern again, you feel like it was just yesterday, and we've all had, we've had some real losses. Like Kathy was a tremendously important part of our team, and she passed away, and Melissa Kowalski, who was a team member for many of us. You kind of see that, you have this amazing joy, and then life happens, but the bond is still there. And so to have this group of people 25 years later where you can laugh and be so joyful with is such a gift.
It's just incredible. Some of us live a little closer than others, but there's some people here who I haven't seen in over 20 years, and it hasn't changed. I don't know if they just put me back as being the freshman, and they just put me back there, but it's just an amazing feeling to have this special bond and to see people again and just easily recognize it and feel that connection, and to know that that we're all going to be honored in this way, and to know that we're forever connected in this way at Northeastern is just incredible, and an honor that I know that we all will cherish. So.
There's no better way to end this night than that statement right there. You will be bonded here forever. Thank you. Congratulations to the 1999 women's basketball team. Coach, great job. Great job.
Welcome back. All right. As the 1999 team makes their way back to their seats, I will just say, from my perspective, thank you so much for having me. I love this night. I love meeting new people and just rekindling the memories from years ago. And I hope that you enjoyed this night as much as I did. And I will now hand it off one final time to Jim Madigan, who will have our parting words.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Dave Sherlock, I just want to let you know that that tradition you started about the IQ not carrying over into the classroom for men's ice hockey, they're still living it every day. I can say that because I was part of the hockey program. And Matt, I didn't realize that you could house your freshman kids coming into campus. I think the statute of limitations are over, but anyways. Thanks, Ed. Did you give reduced rent too? Serious. This is just a wonderful night with so many. It's great to hear the love on this stage from all of our inductees, from the individuals, from the teams, and what Northeastern means to each and every one of you. It's a special place. You know, I've been fortunate to be part of the institution for now 45 years, including my 5 as student athlete, and I can attest how special it is. But to hear it from each one of you from different walks of life is really special. And it continues to be a special place for our student athletes. Our student athletes, today's student athletes, still have that same grit, drive, determination. Yeah, the academic profile might be different. You know, we might be not so much New England based, and we are a global institution, but the drive and the commitment that they have is still there. It resonates. There's a texture, there's a sandpaperness to them, and they want to succeed. And most importantly, they play for the name in the front of the jersey, not the one in the back. So it's important for them to be part of the university. So when they get to see, and we've had a lot of student athletes in the room here today, some of the teams were able to share with some of the inductees, you know, some of their experiences. That's special for our student athletes, so they can see it and hear it and understand later on what they'll hopefully experience later on. Tom Lydon, can you please come front and center here for me, please? Tom Lydon is just a tremendous asset to Northeastern University. He helps us out. He runs this whole show at the Hall of Fame. We have, at the end of the year, we have an award show that he's very supportive of and manages, and we couldn't be more thankful for all your support and assistance over the course of the year. Round of applause for my friend Tom Lydon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. They always get embarrassed when I do this. But Angie and Suze, would you come front and center? There we go. There we go. Jim, so the biggest task I had today was Jim Pierce told me I got to stand on the eye. I didn't screw it up. I stood on the eye every time. Can you two ladies stand on the eye? There you go. Angie and Suze, thank you for all your work here today. Thank you. Again, to our inductees, to our teams, to the individuals, thank you for coming back. Thank you for allowing us to honor you and celebrate you here tonight. To the family, friends, our staff, our coaches, our student athletes, thank you for sharing in this wonderful night for them. Hopefully a night for them that they'll always treasure. You're always welcome back, whether you're coming from the UK, whether you're coming from Sweden, whether you're coming from Canada. We'd love to have you back as often as you want to come back. Enjoy your night. Thank you very much. God bless.